Welcome everybody. Good turnout for a sort of a Friday evening call. We've now identified all the people in North America who have no lives and have nothing to do at all on Friday night. So a little social experiment John was doing. It's morning for John. John's with us today, John Mather,
Good
and
morning, everyone.
and the whole point of this thing is for John to introduce this Project 52 demo plugin or this plugin that he's created, which has so many great parts to it. I'm going to turn the screen over to John and have him walk through this stuff, but this is pretty exciting. For those of you running WordPress, this plugin, he keeps adding to it. He's kind of like on fire right now with adding stuff to this plugin. It is absolutely an amazing plugin for photographers, and we haven't really had too many um, problems with the plugin not playing well with other normal plugins, have we, John?
I think we've got a couple with Next Gen Gallery,
Oh
but
yeah,
other than that, I haven't seen too many.
yeah. If you're running next gen, you may not want to run these galleries, but if you're not running next gen, I just moved my website to my Don Giannetti website to and a Divi with the masonry layout on the home page, and that's how I'm going to run my website. I've given up the website that I had, the theme that I had, and I'm going to run it all off this plugin here. I'm very excited about it because I very much like the horizontal gallery. I'm the one to ask John for it. I think it's a great way to show images, and art directors, especially editorial art directors, love it. So, John, I'm going to turn this over to you right now, right here, and I have to click on that screen there. Show main screen. Okay, thank you. Um, let's see. Where do I do this? I thought, okay, here it is. Got it. Had to find the right one, John. Sorry. And here we go. And there, you should. There we go. We should be seeing your. Are we seeing your screen there, John?
um, I don't know.
I'm
It's,
seeing a mouse move around. Are you looking at the connected to go to webinar screen?
okay, yep. All right, yeah. Hang on. I think.
Yep. There we
Which
go.
which screen can you see my P52
I see.
welcome screen?
Yep. I see Project 52 sample page. Hello, P52ers. Yep. We're good.
Excellent. All right. Fantastic. Hi, guys, and thanks for joining me in presenting this plugin to you. And thanks for Don to putting it together for me to show it to you. So I've created a quick website just on my local machine just to show you this. So at the moment, there's no content. My plugin's not installed or anything. For anybody running an old version, please update that to version 3. Make sure you are running version 3 because there were some issues with previous versions not running the jQuery. So I've fixed that with, I think it was actually version 2.8 or 2.9 that I fixed that. And sorry, the updates are coming thick and fast, but I keep working on this and keep trying to push it out to those guys to get it, to make sure I'm testing it on multiple themes for beta testing. Okay, so I'll start off with showing you where you can get all the information about the plugin and where I keep it all updated. It's my demo site.carassiusproductions.com.au/project52. And I hope you can see that down in the chat box, the link for everybody down there. In here you can see I've got all the different layouts all showing for you, so you can go in and have a play. And over here on the shortcode screen is where you will find examples and information on how to utilize all the different plugins, etc. etc. But I'm also going to run through that for you right now. So first thing we need to do is go in and activate the theme. Now up here you will see you get recommended to install this extra plugin called Admin Columns. It is not required. I'm going to install it just so that way I can show you why I've included that for you. But as I said, it is not required. To start off with, I know a lot of you, everybody that's given me feedback on the plugin so far, any issues that have arisen have been about the gallery side of it. I started this when I first come up with this idea of developing a plugin for you guys. I was more about the business side of it because a lot of people were posting about bidding in for jobs and keeping spreadsheets on where they were with projects and things like that. So given that a lot of us use WordPress, I know not all of us, that's why I thought, well, maybe I'll put this together. So that's where I'm going to get started. I'm going to start with the business side of it, and then we'll move into the galleries side of it. So the first thing I want to show you is the quotes. So as I said, at the moment there are no quotes in here. So I'm going to go in and add a new quote just to show you. I haven't activated that plugin. I only installed. Activate that. That's better. All right, so I'm just going to call this test quote. Now, with all of these, the projects, the galleries, the biggest thing when we hit publish, the one thing we need to note is this slug here. You can change that to whatever you want, but that's where all the shortcodes pull from. So if you go over to my shortcode, you'll see name is test-gallery. If I go down here, it's test-quote, and that actually marries up with what I've put in there. Now, unfortunately, at the moment, I haven't set up a settings page for this, so every quote is individual. I am trying to get that through, but so what we need to do is load in our information each time. I'm going to put in a cute little butterfly my son painted in Photoshop as he's learning Photoshop. He's 7. And I'm going to try and do this really quickly for you. Can't type. Now, in these text boxes here for the address as well, you can use HTML. So for example, like I've done there. And in here is where, so this is for the quote, so in here we can add our line items. Now, guys, it's really important if you're bidding for jobs that you think about all your different line items. You don't want to just be putting in $2,000 for a job, but that's a whole other conversation. So let's add one, and let's go image license, just to make it, and we're going to put, that's going to be $1,000. GST, I have GST over here, which is 10% for tax. Don't know what you call it, so that would be $1,100. And you could click the add more, so you can add more line items. Lunch, that's going to cost $150 because we've got a big staff working on this huge project. So tax is $15, $165, and you can see you get these minus buttons here, so you can remove line items. And 2 models at $400 a day. Tax is $40, so $440. That's it. I think that's pretty good. And then you can add in here your line title. So let's just add in, that'll do. And you can put in notes in here, quite valid for 30 days. You can see I put in a default one there for you, but you can change that to whatever you want. And then if you hit update, that's all in there now. Now the thing is, I'm going to try and get a button in here where you can download this or click to email, but at the moment I haven't got that done, so I'm going to go in and add in a new page here. And if we look at our shortcode for the quote printer, it's P52_quote. All of them start with P52_. Make sure you get your square brackets and then put the name in there. What you can do is type in a name for whatever the page you want, And this should work, fingers crossed, P52 quote. And I'm not going to put in a name there at all. So the reason why I put in random gobbledygook there, because nobody's going to guess that link. And if you hit view page now, and it did break. I knew it would break. Because it has to have a name. I'll fix that, but
John, are you still there? John, we lost your mic, man. We cannot hear you. If you're chatting, we can't hear you. Can you guys hear me? Oh, I said he's working on it. He's working on his audio. Don't know what happened to the audio, but we lost you, John.
hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yep, there you are.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I don't know where I dropped out from the mic. So
Yeah, just you added the name to it.
okay. All right. Cool. So you can see that error disappeared. So I'll get that fixed. So that way it'll always display your latest quote. So then you can create one page and always view your latest quote. But you can see that it's got the header, the menu, the footer there. But when you hit print, it only prints what's in those line items. Okay.
Pretty cool.
So there's a good little quoting tool for you, and you can change the page. So if I go to more settings and change the page size, so I'm in A4 because I'm in Australia. What do you guys use? Letter, is it, or? So if I change it to letter, it still fits.
Oh, good.
If I change it to DL envelope, it'll still fit. I can change that to landscape now, and it will split across the page. So it still fits in all your page sizes. All right, so just install Qt PDF or some sort of PDF printer. There's plenty out there, and you'll be able to print them to PDF and send them off to your clients. So that's the quoting tool.
That's really nice, John. Really nice.
It'll be a lot better when I can get the output to PDF direct from this admin screen. That'll be really good. All right, so next thing I'll move on to is the projects. So once again, I haven't got any projects in here. So I'm going to go and add new. Now the projects, there is no shortcodes for. If you go out to this screen, there is no shortcodes for it. It's because it is purely designed at this stage for a back end only. So it's not for you to share on your website. It's for you to manage your website, your projects. So let's add in a project. Okay, so first thing we've got all these tabs across the top for you. So in here we've got a project description. So this is just so you can describe what the project's about, so you know exactly what it all is. And the project info is everything to create the project. So commence date is today. So we've got a nice little date picker there. And you can see that it's in initial contact. So when you've reached out for a client, when you're going, hey, I'm going to send out a mailer or something like that, you've sent out a quote, won, started, lost. So there's all your statuses there. And then you've got a close date for when it's closed. So this is for Don. And p52@gmail.com is a fancy email. And once again, it's a text area box. So you can use HTML here. And if you remember, I put the line break in here. And if we look at that, see, so it breaks over the lines. If we didn't break over the line, if we didn't put the breaks in there, so it was under my name, then it would say, instead of being 8 John Street and then the New Line West Australia, that would all be one line. So that's why you can use, that's where the HTML, just using line breaks, can come in handy. So I'm just going to add in address. All right, so then we've got in, all Don's information there. We'll head over to tasks and we'll give it a go to webinar. And you can add in there information about it. You can select a task style. So what's the task? What do you need to do with the task? When is that task due? And what I might actually add in here is under task style, I might add in other, so you can choose other. And when you select other, another box can appear under here, so you can type in your own. I think that might be a good idea now that I'm just thinking about it. And text status, it's in progress, and you can put in when it's completed. I mean, not text, task status. So you can add more tasks and remove more tasks. So you can so you don't have to go to create different projects for each task. You create the project and then you add your tasks in for what you need to do as they progress. Under documents, you can upload all your documents. Now you can see in this version I've added in 2 documents. One is for documents and one is for private documents. I am going to add in a shortcode to display different information, and one of them will be documents. So that way you can add in, say, model releases, contracts and things like that to the normal documents, and you can use the shortcode to share them on your website, so you can give your client a login, because you can make it a private page, give your client a login and they can download all the documents, whereas private documents are things just for you. Okay. Then you can add in your images, so you can upload any finished images. Also in documents, you can add in Photoshop documents, you can add in Illustrator documents, Word documents, Excel documents, zip files. I've added in a plethora of document uploads. However, some hosts, your web host, may put restrictions in there, and you'll need to do some PHP adjustments with your host, but talk to your web host about that. Same as they generally have a 2 meg, I believe, upload limit, especially if you maybe smaller, if you're on shared hosting, like a cheap hosting like GoDaddy or something. So that can be changed as well, but that's something you'll need to talk about to your host. So if you do go and upload a file and it comes up with an error, it's not necessarily an error with the plugin. It could be an error with the hosting not allowing it because of file or content restriction. So images is where you can upload your images for finished images. So once you've finished a project and you've put in all your images, you can load them into here. Once again, that'll be a short codable thing, so you can share that onto your client's view. We've got key contacts. Now, key contacts are people that are involved with the project. So these aren't clients. These are people that you need to make sure you've got contact information for, things like that. So you've got models, caterers, car hire, gear hire, venue, printer, airline, other. And as I just thought with the other one, when you select other, I'm going to add in another hidden text box. So when you choose other, it'll appear, so you can type it in. So it's not restricted to just what I have in there. And it also means you don't have to get me to add something every time you want me to put something in. So and you can, once again, you can add more and delete them as they become involved with the project. And then you've got your expenses. So similar to the quote layout, so these are your expenses involved with the project. So as you spend money, you can maintain how much those expenses are. So you can have your car hire, the quantity or hours, so you got your model hire, etc., etc. And then, of course, once it's done, you can close the date and hit publish. Now, when you hit publish, it comes up here, view post. If I view that, whoops, page not found, because there is nothing to view. There's no template in there. So viewing the post won't do anything. It's not a fault with the plugin. That's the way WordPress works, because it's called a custom post. So, and there's nothing configured. That's exactly the same with the quoting tool and the galleries, because to have that viewable, then I'd need to edit every single theme you ever use, and that's not going to happen, which is why we use shortcodes. So that is the project tool and the quote tool for helping you guys manage the business. Shall I keep going, Don, or do we have any questions appearing?
I'm not seeing any questions. I think you're explaining it really well. We've got a lot of folks here, so if there are questions, folks, just type them into the question. Now, oh, here comes some
Okay.
questions. Hold on. We'll get Anjani. Hi, Anjani. How are you?
Yeah. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So,
Uh,
what's your question for John?
Fabulous, John. So if you can't print this project page, are you going to show us then how we can actually see it and get to it later?
Okay, so I've done that and updated it. So when you go into your projects and you go all projects, all your projects are listed in here. So you can just go in and edit it and view all the information for it at any time because it's stored in your database.
Oh, great. So can you print from this page like you can print an invoice?
At this stage, no. You could go Control P to bring that up. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah.
So I could load in a CSS in here to make it so all this other stuff like the menu on the side all disappears on the print screen. But at this stage, I haven't configured it to do anything because I'm not sure. I haven't really decided on how much do we want to output. And if you look when you're printing this, all those tabs disappear. And if I didn't have them in tabs, it would run over 30 pages.
Wow.
So as I said before, I'm going to work on a bunch of short codes. So it won't be one short code, it'll be multiple short codes. So you'll be able to go P52 project underscore documents, and that'll display the documents. And you could use 5 short codes on the one page. So you could show the documents, you could show the images, you could show, whatever you like based on that short code. I just haven't done anything with that yet because it's not really it wasn't designed to be a front end project, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Anjani, this is kind of a repository for you.
Yeah, no, I get that. I
Yeah.
still just put things on paper a lot, so I put them in the machine and then I print them so I can, so that would be an awesome option at some point for a short code. Anyway, this is great, John. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, very good. Let's see. We've got another one here. Is the quotes page going to have areas for set fees and line items? Yeah, he showed line items, Paula. Hold on.
Is that more like so you can
No,
just
you showed it. That thing that I sent you today, disregard because you've already got it. You can keep adding to it. Paula, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's got. You can make as many line items as you want with the little add more button.
No, but what I'm talking about is like, how you talk about your day price, your half day, full day, all of
Right.
that stuff.
Right.
so you can have a product page and then just add the product each one. So you add the product once and then you can use it on multiple quotes over and over again.
Okay, I guess I didn't catch that when you explained it because
Okay,
Did you-
Polar, isn't it?
So explain, Paula, explain to me what you mean. I mean,
okay,
about having like everything lined out, so you got your fees at the top, and you have all these different things that you can then negotiate.
yes.
Yeah, right here, right where it says add item, add more. Click on add more, John. So he's got license, lunch, models. You can just go right down the list and have as many things as you want.
Okay, I guess I was thinking more of a set piece that's always got that there.
Well, that's what I sent to John. I sent him a thing that had things like air travel, assistance, and things like that. And John and I are trying to figure out the best way to add that. I like his because it's always going to be custom. John, is there a on the right side there? Is that column? Yeah, over there.
Yep.
Is that column available for us? Can we put something there?
I can put whatever you like in there.
What if we took that list of things that we normally have on shoots, assistants, caterers, sets, and everything, and put that in as a prompt? Paula, how would that work?
I honestly don't know. That may be the solution. I was just, you can set the. I was thinking that you could set it as something that is there all the time, kind of like a. I don't. I'm
Okay, pull up. What you're talking about is a full e-commerce basic solution.
okay.
So you're talking about having, like, so you'd have over here a products, which could be your model hire, your day fees, your license fees, and everything like that, and then you just choose that product and bring it into here each quote. So you only add the item once. You don't have to add it to every single quote.
Right.
That's what you're referring to, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Something like that.
And yes, the answer is yes. That is coming. I already
Okay.
have the products page built. What's above my pay grade, using a phrase, is linking them.
Okay.
Same as the customer info, I'm going to have a customers over here. So you don't have to type that into every quote. You add the customer and then you'll be able to generate a quote to the customer.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
So you don't have to type it in every time. As I said, I've got that, as well as I've got with the projects, the key contacts. I've got that for team info.
Okay.
I've got all that in place, all that structure. I just
Okay.
I haven't released it to all you guys because at the moment you might as well just have a Rolodex.
Right. Right.
But I am putting out tenders now to get some more experienced PHP coders to help me in generating the PDF export as well as linking all these modules into one.
Okay.
That answer your question?
Yeah, that does. The other part of it that I noticed when you were entering, and this, I guess that ties back to the product section. So never mind. I think you just answered my question. For the products
Did
thing.
I? All right.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Excellent. And it's the same with the totals. These will automatically calculate once I can get my head around how to do it. I know how to do calculations in the PHP. I just don't know how to output that into here. So,
Very good.
any more questions?
I'm not. Oh, hold on. They come in as a group. Okay, solve later. But is anyone seeing that the home page messed up when activating 3.0 version of the plugin? I don't know because the home page doesn't really mean anything unless we know what theme you're using. Jorge, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello.
I can hear you.
Okay. Gonna try to solve this later because I don't want to interrupt your explanation. But I just updated to 3.0, and when it activates, it totally screws up my home page.
Right. There's going to be a
Okay.
conflict there. So John will come in and take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me up on Facebook after, and we'll jump in and have a look.
Yeah, no problem.
Because that's going to be that might be a unique error for your theme.
Yeah.
I was helping you yesterday, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No worries. Okay. I'll jump in and have a look for you after the webinar and see what's going on.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
Leah has a question. Is there a way to organize the projects by dates or deadlines? I think the dates they go in latest project first, right?
Correct. But however, great timing to put in a question because that's where I can show you where that column plugin prompt comes into play. So if you install that plugin that it prompted you and go to admin columns, over here you could go to quotes, you can add in, you can organize where these things display, and you can also add in a custom field. So custom field, let's choose, so let's go quote name, your name, quote company, and it's a text. Where is it? I'll just leave that as default then. And so we've got that, and I'll just drag that up. So I'm going to, do I need to update that? I don't think I do. I'm just gonna, let's go all quotes. No, I must need to save that. Where do I save that? Here we go, over here on the right, store settings, save. So what I've done is I've added in the title, I've made sure I've got the title and the custom field, which we'll label, we'll call that customer, and I'll update that. And we've told it to display the P52 quote company. So if I go over here, so at the moment it's got the date, which doesn't show that, just shows 24 minutes ago because it's so new. As days tick on, that'll change to the day date. But now if I refresh that, I can now see who the customer was.
Cool.
So if you remember that quote, if I go back into that quote and edit it, I called the customer P52, so I'm just company, not the name. So I could go back into my settings and go admin columns. So this is a very handy plugin, and it's not just for, as you can see, it's for every custom post type that you ever use, and as well as normal post, media libraries, comments, its users, etc., etc. So it is a really handy tool. It's a free plugin. There is a pro version. So we can add in another column here, and let's make this one, let's leave that as customer. Let's go in, edit that, and go company. So we'll just change that to company and customer, and we'll change that to quote name and add column. Oops, no, I don't want to add that column. Remove that column. I want to close that. We'll drag that up. So now we'll go the title, the customer, the company, and the date it was done. We'll update that, and now we'll see. You can see the customer name and the company they work for.
Cool.
All right, because
Leah, does that answer your question?
I think so. I'm kind of following along. Yeah.
so you can feel. So you'll see date is blue, and when you hover over it, there's
Yeah.
only one quote in there, but you'll be able to organise and sort that in order, whatever order you want.
So I think what she is asking would take one more field on the input, and that would be date due.
Yes, precisely.
Oh,
Deadline.
okay, all right. So yeah, so we could go back into our admin columns, go to our quotes, add in another column, and the custom field is due date, and we can go into the quote, and where is it? There is no due, actually there isn't a due date in the quote.
That's what I was saying. I think you have to create a due date on your end.
Okay, so you want me to? Okay, yes, I can add that. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I can add that. Absolutely.
Cool.
Thank
Good
you very
question.
much. This is heads above the project manager that I already use. So thank you.
No worries.
Yeah.
All right, have we got any more questions about projects or quotes before we move on to galleries then?
No, but Anjani is going to send you a name. She has a PHP person. So she'll
Okay.
send you a name over on Facebook. Anjani, just send that, get a hold of John over on Facebook. Fantastic. I don't see any other questions on this part of it. Looks great, John.
Okay, fantastic. Right. Let's move on to galleries then. So I'm going to add a new gallery. Now, if you were using an old version, you would have seen a big box open here where you could drag in all the images and everything like that. When I was helping Jorge, is it pronounced? Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. You couldn't select existing images that were already in the media gallery, so I changed that. So you can no longer drag and drop into the field, So you have to. But now you can choose existing images. So I'm just going to
You
go
can
in
do
and
both.
select.
You can.
But you could drag into here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just going to drag these in. Whereas before I had it so you just dragged them directly into that screen. But Jorge was absolutely right that we should be able to select existing media. You don't want to be uploading duplicates just because you can. Now these are just random Unsplash images. So they are not my photos. They are from a stock website that I use for everything, unsplash.com. Absolutely amazing for stock photography and 100% free. So there we go. So once they're added in here, they still appear, and you can drag them to rearrange them into any order you want. You can also go in and edit your images like normal, so you can add in here for your SEO. So please, when you upload your photos to As Photographers, make sure you do go in and do all your captions, alternative text, and descriptions, because SEO, as you know, is highly important. Just go back into my, no, I'm still in gallery here. So we can add in, so you can add more and more as you go. I'm just going to add in a random description of my gallery. And you can add in a color category. So at the moment, this doesn't do anything in terms of outputting to the screen. But I've put it in there because you can. This is called a taxonomy in WordPress speak. So you'll be able to filter your galleries by taxonomy, and eventually, so you could create multiple galleries and merge them. So you could have a portfolio gallery and people gallery, and you can merge the two and have them in the one page.
Nice. John, we lost your audio again. There you go. John, are you back?
Am I back?
There you are. Now you're back. Yep.
Okay. I don't know what happens. My USB, for some reason, it is dropping out, so I just have to unplug it and plug it back in for you. I can still hear you, though, so I don't know. Anyway,
Okay.
So once again, like with before, you can use that admin columns to display different things. So we've got a gallery in here. So we've got the category and the date. We could add in a column, which is, once again, a custom field. And we can choose the gallery image and make it a image. Or make it a media library, but in this case we'll make it an image. And now we just save that gallery. So when we go into our galleries and go back into our all galleries, you can see now, you'll see that's the first image displayed. So you can get a visual reference on and get an idea of what images are going to be in there by using your first image. So if I edit that gallery, you'll see it's the first image. And of course, you can, let's just refresh that because that was a different page. And of course, you can move them around, so you just drag them up.
It's cool. That's really cool, man.
All right, so that is why I decided to include that as a prompt for you, because it helps. So it gives you guys an idea of it. It's a real handy tool. You could probably see that already.
Very.
All right, so now we've got our gallery loaded. What do we do with it? So let's go into our pages and go into our all pages, and this is where we start to use our shortcodes. So I'm going to start with the masonry layout, just because it's the first one in the link. I think it's the most popular one. I think, Don, you're one of the only ones that's really keen on the horizontal, from what I've seen with the people that have given me feedback so far.
Mm-hmm.
So let's add a page, and let's make this horizontal. So straight in this page, now this could be a post. It doesn't have to be a page. But straight in your page, you would go P52 horizontal. And let's hit publish. And let's go view page. Hang on. name equals test gallery. That should be right now. Let's try to refresh that. Yep, there we go. So there's our test horizontal gallery. Now the reason why this doesn't span full width of the page is because I use Headway themes. So if I go and edit and make that, change it to fluid, change grid to fluid, make it full screen, and now refresh, it'll span all the way across.
And for those of you
And you'll see it's
using Divi, you use the full width header, and you paste your code into the code box, and that's what you'll get in your header. You'll get this.
Now this has lazy loading. What that means is it only displays the images on the page. So anything off the page doesn't load until it starts to appear. So as you scroll across, if I scroll across, you'll see it start to stutter and slow down. That's because the images are still loading. So that way it doesn't, so if you have 1,000 images in here, it doesn't slow down your site. They'll load straight away and then load as you scroll through. And you can see it'll do portrait and horizontal. Now, someone was having issues where it was cropping their images. I think it was Ian. So if Ian's online, I am looking into that for you to see what's going on there. Okay, so if we go over to our shortcodes and have a look, I was going to start with Mesa and I started with horizontal. Okay, anyway, if we go over to our shortcode on my demosites.carassisproductions.com.au/project52 and go to our shortcodes and go down to our horizontal, you can see, so name is slug, so we went through what a slug was. So you've got description equals true. So let's go and add that in. So we go DESC equals true. And hit update and hit refresh. It shows the description above it. Go to our shortcodes again. So we've got title equals true. Let's go title equals true. And as with the description, it should show the test gallery. It won't show horizontal, it'll show test gallery. Horizontal is showing is because I've set my page up to display the title of the page. But if I hit refresh now, we've got test gallery. Next in the list, we've got lightbox equals true. So at the moment, you can see you can't click on anything. Now, the advantage of not having a lightbox is you can see I can click on here and it scrolls across. My arrows are all appearing. And now you can see I'm scrolling, but my mouse isn't moving. I'm not clicking. If I click that, put my mouse up there, I'm using my arrow keys, so I can arrow navigate. However, if I go lightbox equals true and hit update and hit refresh, I can now click on it and my images come up in a lightbox and I can navigate through them. Oops. So I can scroll through. Arrow keys work to scroll through.
Yeah, cool. That's really cool.
However, if I use my arrow keys here, I do believe it doesn't work.
You have to use the mouse on you have to use
correct.
the mouse
So
on
you've got the arrows there.
Yeah.
And the arrows don't work.
Right. You have to use the mouse on the slider.
You have to use the slider. Yeah. So if you've got Lightbox, understand it's because of the way the images are linked, and so the arrows are no longer linked. But you can open it up and then arrow through.
Okay, and I think these images are being they're being cropped right there.
Are they?
If you go back to the deer, see it's cropped, it's cutting at his feet, and when you bring him up, see? Now
Okay,
I don't think it was cropping before you added one of those things to the shortcode.
Shortcodes. No, it wasn't. So all right, so that's
it got narrow.
So that's what Ian gave me feedback on. It was cropping them so instead of filling, so this is set to, I think it's 500px. So instead of cropping, instead of filling, it's setting the image. Yeah, it's setting the image to height. width should be auto, so I don't know why it's cropping. So anyway, I will continue to work on that and have a look at what's going on there.
Show the mosaic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, all right, okay. One last thing for the shortcodes is you've got margin here. So if we go into margin equals, let's give it I want a 5px margin on each, sorry, I want a 10px margin between my images. So I would halve that and go 5. The reason being is because it'll add 5 to the one on the image on the left, 5 to the one on the right. So if you, so 5 plus 5 is 10. So if I update that now and refresh, there's a margin between the images. Okay?
That's cool.
All right. So let's go in and add a new page, and we'll go into masonry. And we're going to use the same gallery, except the shortcode changes from horizontal to masonry. I wonder if this one is working, because it shouldn't error out when you put in the names. It should just go. So let's view that page. Yeah, it still is. Oh no, it's not. Yes, it is in the back there. Okay, so you have to put in a name. I'm going to fix that, so we'll just display the latest. It used to, so I don't know what I've changed to make that work. That you didn't have to enter a name. But so anyway, I will get that fixed and pushed out. Gallery equals test dash gallery, we called it. So let's go update.
You need another quotation mark.
Oh.
There you go.
And there's our masonry gallery. Now I'll just refresh that just so you can see that again. All right, so you'll probably see it'll list all the images and then they'll shuffle into position. All right. So the first time you load that, if you've got a lot of images and big size images, it'll take a while to shuffle into position. So have a look at a caching plugin. I went through this with Jorge the other day. We installed one caching plugin, WP Super Cache, and it white screened his site. So then we installed another caching, and it improved the loading time of his site.
Yes.
Through the roof.
Every WordPress site should have some type of caching. You've just got to do it. Otherwise, it just takes too much of a drag on the server.
Especially photographers.
Yes.
Where they're loading in high resolution images to really showcase those images in big file sizes to really show off their images. So yeah, it is truly important. But also you need to be careful with caching with your host. If your host has a caching plugin built into their servers, then you can get a lot of conflicts.
Yes.
So you just got to,
always
which
ask.
is what I think happened.
Yeah. You always got to ask.
Yep. Okay, so straight out the box, you can see it's got the navigation, and you can scroll through as with using the arrow keys I am now. So you can add it in the light box, and it'll give the masonry layout. Now, someone posted before that they were using NextGen with the masonry layout, and at the moment, if I go and add to this page, so this should appear under my gallery. This is an amazing plugin, and click update and hit refresh. It appears underneath, as you'd expect. But if I go and change that around, so now it's on top of my masonry gallery, and hit refresh, it still sits underneath, even though it's on top here. So I've made sure I'll update, and I'll make sure I refresh. It still sits underneath my gallery, because the masonry galleries need to have an absolute positioning in order to create this, because the gallery itself, all the images need to have, so the container needs to have absolute positioning, and then the images are relative positioning, so they're relative to the container. So that's where you can have some issues. And so NextGen galleries masonry layout also has absolute positioning. So they are going to compete for this for main spot. So that's where you can experience some issues. I am trying to work out how a way around it, so how I can make it so it does sit in the position in which you set it.
Yeah, but I don't think we need to. I don't think you need to worry. I mean, why would you run two of them on the same page?
And that was my thoughts. But my thoughts behind it, though, Don, is let's say you want to have your description for your gallery sitting above the masonry layout.
Okay, I can see that.
All right, so it's not about, so for me, I'm looking at it as, well, you're not going to load multiple galleries on one page for multiple different plugins. The reality is that's not going to happen. But if you wanted some content above that, so, hey, this was a photo shoot here and here describing your gallery, well, then you might want that nested above.
Right. Right.
And that's where I'm thinking from. All right. So guys, understand that I'm working on that, and this doesn't crop your images. So you can see the deer's feet are all there. Okay, so let's have a look at the shortcodes for the masonry. So we've done the slug. So Lightbox in this case is set to default on. You can turn that to off. I'm sure I don't need to go through that one just yet. But the other thing I want to show you is the image fill. So let's go back into here, and let's go image fill. Now, the reason why it is image fill is because it sets how much of each relative container. So this is a container for the image, and then you've got a container for the all the images. So just to understand how this all works to make it so it makes it logical for how you do it. So we want this container, we want the image to fill up. Let's say we want a 5% gutter. Then we want to set the image fill to just 95%, like I have in my example there. So image fill equals 95%, and that'll give a 5% gutter on each side. If I use margins, if I use padding, because of the way the positioning works to create the masonry gallery layout, it doesn't work. So I can update that. So this is the best way I could think of doing it, and that's my reasoning behind it. So if I refresh, you will see there is now a 5% gutter for the rows. Now, one thing for some reason has dropped off, and once again, Ian, if you're online, I know you've pointed this out to me. It used to do this, is there is no gutter in between these images for the vertical. It's only showing it across the horizontal. So let's say I added in a margin, it doesn't work. So let's go margin, just to give you an idea, 0 for the top and bottom and 5px on either side. Oops. You'll see all the images shuffled across. You can see the gap. I don't know if you can see that. I'll see if I'll zoom in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it really stuffs up the images. You can see that. Okay, so that's why. So I'm trying to work out how. Personally, I don't mind just having the film. I call it a film strip layout, but that's yeah. But so I know it was pointed out, so I will see if I can fix that to make it so it does have a 5% on the top and bottom on that. So I'm aware of that issue. Okay. I think that covers off pretty much the masonry layout. I don't think there's much more to show on that. I didn't worry about showing the Lightbox faults because that's pretty self-explanatory, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I've got on my home page. No. Oh.
And I'm trying to keep all these little things very lightweight. So the plugin itself, I think, is only running at 350 kilobits, if that. So it should keep your sites running super quick.
Excellent.
All right. The last gallery we've got is the print gallery. Now this one, Don, I did this for you because you did request this. and it is a work in progress. It does work at the moment, but it is not pretty. Okay, so let's go and add a new page, and we'll call this print, and we'll go P52, like they all start with, underscore and a print. Name equals test gallery. So let's hit publish. I can close that one down. I can close that one down. And let's go view page. So here's my print gallery. So it doesn't look 100% pretty as things shuffle into position because it hasn't set up. It's not set up to be that masonry layout. It's just designed to put them in the order in which you have the gallery laid out. So if you want it to look pretty for your clients, let's go back into our gallery and let's edit it. So we can see that move all your portraits down the bottom. Just drag them around. So we've got the Statue of Liberty, drag that down the bottom. What else did we have? We got the coffee shop. We got the canyon. Is that Grand Canyon? Is that your way, Don?
Looks like something in Bryce Canyon.
I was going to say it looks like the hoodoos.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we got these leaves. Let's drag those leaves down. What else have we got? We got the scarf picture. Where are we? Seascape and the lights, the stars, and Big Ben. So we'll drag that down, and where's Big Ben? Yes. Let's hit update now. Let's hit refresh. And you'll see that starts to look a little bit neater, a little bit better. So if you're presenting this to your clients, then once again, just organise them for that. Now what I want to show you, go back to our masonry layout, so that's done the same thing here. So the masonry layout won't look as pretty now because it's showing all your portrait and all your landscape images together.
My advice would be to create a second gallery for your print. So if you wanted to do somebody could do a quick print off of 15 shots of yours, is to create a separate one so it looks pretty in the print. You just call it that way.
That's exactly what I would do as well. But in case you are using the same galleries, it does become an issue, which is why I wanted to show it. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to jump back into masonry and show you a hidden Easter egg that Jorge wanted me to do. And it doesn't show up in my shortcodes here. And that's random. Random equals true. So if we look at our print gallery, the deer is the first one. Let's go in and view this page. And now it shuffles my images. So now it's not first. Let's refresh. And now we've got the leaves true. So masonry has a random layout. So every time someone refreshes the page, it is going to shuffle those images for you. So that's how you can fix that. If you're using the same gallery for the print, you can now randomize your images in your masonry. You can do random masonry anyway, even if you don't have the print. So I'll get that added into the shortcode. I kept that hidden because I wanted to show you guys here, because that's a pretty cool feature. So thanks to Jorge for suggesting it.
Very cool.
Okay, going back to our print demo. All right, so now, and if I refresh, you'll see that still shows the exact layout, even though masonry is shuffling. It's not shuffling the gallery, it's only shuffling the display. So all these images still stay in the same layout. So you can click on these images to select the ones you want. And that'll do. Scroll down the bottom and hit print, and it will print those images for you. Now I've got a couple of issues here. So where this is not designed to be for people to go and print their their images for displaying on the wall. This is just for like, so people can go, hey, these are the images I like, print these. And then they can share them with you. Art directors can print them. You can easily print off tear sheets and things like that. So let's say you've got a gallery and you're going to see a client, you can choose which images you want to take to show them as a tear sheet. All right? So, but there are a couple of issues in the way the page breaks. So you can see these two images down the bottom here are splitting across the 2 pages. And but they are shuffling into the right spot. Someone did say they weren't. I think I fixed that with this version, as you can see. So if I go back to my image, I've deliberately left off, and I haven't. Let's see. So now I've unselected the monkey and unselected the umbrella, so there's gaps in them. I think I fixed it. Fingers crossed. No, I haven't. So you can still see there's some gaps here. All right, so there are a couple of issues to fix. The other thing I want to add into this is a submit button. So that way what will happen is you could get your clients to go in here and select their images and then hit submit, and it will email you or notify you which images they like. And also, eventually I want to be able to say when they submit, it'll create their private gallery for them that they can then share with friends, family, colleagues, or whatever. Okay?
Very nice.
So there is some work. It does work. It's not perfect, so there is some work to do around that.
Well, the way you've been working on this, man, I'm sure it won't take you long to get it done.
I'm trying. I've been trying to get everything as much as I can done as quick as possible. Now, all right. So the next thing I want to do, I realised I don't have a image to showcase this on my computer, so I'm just going to download something quickly there.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do.
Anjani had a question, but
Okay.
The print capability is only active if you activate it, right?
What do you mean by print
I was
capability?
wondering if you can block users from using the print capability.
Well, then don't use the gallery.
Yeah, don't use the print gallery. Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
That's all it is to it.
Yeah, it's only there for your benefit if you want to do it.
What I mean is, can you use it like you could use like I use Proof, and some people can print from it and some people can't. So rather than turning it on or off universally, can you, so like somebody has to have a password to be able to print from it? I looked away from the computer for about 2 minutes, so it's possible like totally.
No, that's not what this is for. This is for you to create a gallery for art directors to print. Period.
Okay.
Okay. If you want it as a private page, so so only the people with access can see it, there are plugins for that to secure your site for privatizing different
Or you can
pages.
it's built in WordPress. You can just put a password on the page.
Oh, that's true. Okay, awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So I don't need to put it in. So I'm not going to include it in the plugin.
No need to, because you can just put that on a page, hit the password, send your client the password, and they got it. That's a nice feature, by the way, to be able to do that. So good question, Anjani. Very good question.
Okay, so the next thing I want to show is before and after. I've put this as a separate gallery. Oh, why is that not working? I must have disabled that like I did with the galleries before. When I rewrote this program, I accidentally deleted some of the gallery uploads.
Well, show them what it does. Show them what it does, and then.
Okay, all right. All right, so if I go into my before and after, so what it does, it allows you to add in 2 images. So you could have a before, so unedited image, and then they just have to scroll across with their mouse and swipe it back to see the before and after. So you could have uses for this are, like I said, unedited and edited.
Mm-hmm.
I will push out 3.1 today with that back in because I don't know why I accidentally deleted that. And if you're, so you could have, so you could have your unedited image here and after image there. And for some reason this isn't working down here, but you can see how it says Photoshop by John Mather, unedited by Robert Pickles. Okay, so you can label these in the gallery to whatever you want. So even though it says before and after, you can call it whatever you want with the name. You could also have the resulting image, and you could have it. You could have it so you could show, if they scroll behind, you could show a back-end view, a behind-the-scenes view. You could have the image, and then you could show your lighting diagram. So that's just a couple of examples of how you could use this plugin, which I'm sorry I accidentally deleted.
And one of the caveats is both of those images have to be the same size.
Correct, yes. So they do, if you've got them smaller, let's say this one was a portrait image, then as you're scrolling through, you wouldn't see it, and then it would start to appear. And this does work on mobile. It doesn't swipe though. So it's not a swipe with your finger on mobile, but if you press the screen in the spots, it'll scroll to that location that you click.
Yeah, very nice.
All right.
See if there's any other questions. This is a great plug-in, John.
Okay, so the last thing I want to do is I'm going to go to my normal media, and I'm going to add a new image, and I've got it here. Let me open it. So it's this wonderful panoramic that I've just downloaded. And where did I download that to? Pictures? Hang on, let me go. For some reason it decided to download to my documents. So here we go. So let's drag that in and upload that to my image. So that's in there now. So I'm just going to go in and go edit. All right, so there's my panoramic image, and I'm going to select this file URL. Now I'm going to go into add new pages. So this is not a gallery or anything like that, this panoramic. So all you need to do is go P52, panoramic. I think, is it panoramic or panorama? Let's go back to my shortcodes. Panorama. P52 panorama, and you'll see here that that's all you need to do for now. All right. And then you've got a closing one here. So you've got to do a P52 close. So where was that image? Just get that back again because I just cut and pasted, so I need to get that URL again. Let's leave that open. So we close that off. We add in our image, and we've got to make sure that it says image source equals. And don't worry if you forget this, because I'll show you another way to do it in a second. And then we've got to close off the P52 panorama. Okay, if you don't know HTML, so you don't know how to do all this, all you need to do is go add media, choose your image, go insert, but you need to delete all this up until it starts the image. You can't have that A link in there. And you also don't want any of that sizing in there. All right, so you can do it using the media uploader, but the media uploader includes all of that. And so
it's best to just have the short code, folks.
Correct. Yeah. So it's easier if you just go and do what I did, copy the URL and paste it in there. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is go publish. And if we go into view this page, delete all these pages now, close them all out, right? Oops. Why is that not working? Okay, so obviously I've got to put in, so if we look at our shortcodes, so direction, repeat, and width, and display. So let's see if that's what I need to do. So let's go under here. So we go direction. Maybe that's, I think that might be what it is because we need to determine what the direction is. Horizontal. Let's hit update. Let's go refresh. Okay, yeah, so you have to put the direction in there. And you'll see that's blown, because of the size of the image, it's blown right out. So even though it works, so it has to know what's direction to scroll in. So even though it's worth, if we look, even though it works, we want to set some pixels. So I'm going to make it 960 by 400 because that's what I've got as my demo. So we go height equals 400 pixels. Now this is not the image height. This is just the container height. And I'll show you that in a second. So, and we go width equals 960px, which in case anybody doesn't know is a standard 12 column in websites these days that people are using. So let's hit refresh. And there we go. So it's now 960px, and it has, so you can see it's sized the image to the height of the container, but it hasn't sized the width. All right, so we can scroll through and we can make that swipe through for our panoramic viewer. The other thing we can do is we could go, let's go back, I keep going to the wrong page. Let's go to the edit page. Let's make it 400px square, and so it's a smaller container. Let's go repeat equals true. And let's hit update. Let's go refresh. So the image is still there, and now we can scroll, and if we keep scrolling, it repeats through. So it doesn't stop when it reaches the end of the image. So if you've got so this is not a 360 degree viewer, but I'll use the term 360. So if it goes 360 degrees all the way around, you can scroll through. So landscape shooters, commercial shooters that are shooting interiors, if you want to get in and start doing Google Street View, get recognized as a photographer, that handy tool. Now the other thing I'm going to go show you, I'll see if I can quickly download a vertical panorama. And here's one here, view image. Now I'm just downloading these at Google, so these are not my images, but they are open source images. Sorry, I just had to change that because free to use or share. And I used Paris in my demo, so I'm just going to go and get a different one.
I think your screen is frozen there, John.
I'm on a different screen.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
So it's not that it's frozen, it's just that I'm not using that screen. Okay, so let's go back into media. Let's go add new. And let's drag in my winter in Sweden vertical panorama. And once again, we go edit, copy my URL, Control C. So this, you can see, is a vertical image. And let's go into that page. And let's go P52 _ panorama direction equals vertical. And I'm going to set this as the height equals 400px, width equals 400px. So it's going to be exactly the same dimensions. I'm not going to have it as repeat. And then we go image source equals, and then close off our P52 shortcode. And we close it off with that backslash there. If you can you all see what I'm typing? Is it clear?
Yeah. It's a backslash,
And hit-
folks. Yeah.
and we hit update. So that's now in there. If we refresh our page, the image is broken. Why is the image broken? Source equals. Oh, because I haven't put my inverted commas there. So I got my HTML code wrong. There we go. So now it's a vertical. So now we can scroll up and view our vertical panorama, and they are playing nice together. So you can embed these within a post.
I was going to say that's what's really cool. You can put these in a post, and again, if you're using Divi, you can put them as a full width post, so you can scroll the whole width of your screen. It's pretty darn cool. Neat stuff, John.
So check out my cool panorama. So let's say that was a post, not a page, but now you can see it shows it there. Once again, it's putting it to the top. So I've got to work that out. But you can see you can embed it in anywhere you want.
You can do posts. You can have it small in a post. You can have it main image in a post. It's really, really awesome. Really, really awesome.
And that brings us to the end of the presenting of this of the plugin. I think I've covered everything off there, have I?
I think you did a great job with it, John. I'm not seeing any new questions. I'm just going to quickly say if you got a question, ask now. And I'm going to thank John for coming out. Thank you, man, for doing this and coming out and explain it. I'll get this video up on Facebook for you guys, and I'll also get a link over on Lighting Essentials. I mean the Project 52, so you can see this video there too. Anjani has a question. What's that, Anjani?
Two questions I posted in the thing there. One is, John, I asked you before about whether you might be able to export from Lightroom directly, but you said not really. So my question is, since you mentioned that this is not compatible with NextGen, will it be compatible with WPLR sync, the WordPress Lightroom sync thing that you can export right from Lightroom?
It should be, because that just exports directly to your media gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
you're still going to have to choose the images and apply them to a gallery.
Yeah. And then the next one is, you mentioned WP Supercache, which is what I use. What else do you use instead of that doesn't have a problem?
All right, okay. There are quite a few available, and the other one I used, which I haven't used in a long time, let's bring it up. Let's go add new plugin, because I don't have anything installed in here, because I didn't want to have anything installed. If I go in and insert cache, is Jorge, do you remember what it was called? It's been a long time because I've used Supercache for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I've used Supercache and W3 Total Cache.
W3 Total Cache is the other one I've used.
Yep, those are the only two that I've ever used.
And it was I was shocked that we got the white screen of death for
Hypercache.
Hypercache, that's it. That's what it was. I knew it was, and it was purely because it had been a long time. Look, see, there it is in my search when I type it in. It had been a long time.
We lost your audio, John. There you go. Now you're back. I think you're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had been a long time since I used it because I've never had any issues with Supercache or Total Cache before. So we had to jump into his back end and remove it.
I'm not thrilled with ISPs that have caching. I won't use an ISP that has caching because too many things that I do have to be changed quickly. and
Yeah.
those places with the that's great if you're a little mom and pop or you're a family and running a little family blog, but when you're doing a lot of pushing out of stuff, you don't want caching on the server, and if they insist on it, find another host.
Absolutely. And Jorge, I think you were with GoDaddy, weren't you?
No, I've never had
Yeah.
that issue. I've had clients that have had it. GoDaddy, they're really cheapest. If you get that $3.99 a month server, they throttle you down, and you've got your site is cached for like 24 hours sometimes. It's ridiculous. You've got to get with a good host, Bluehost, HostGator. There's a bunch of good hosts out there.
Yeah. Find a WordPress dedicated one if you run a WordPress.
Yep, that's as well too.
All right.
All right. Well, that looks like
Have we got any more questions?
Doesn't look like it, John. Thank you, my
No
friend.
question. I wanted to say thanks. It's just excellent. Great work.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Absolutely.
All right. You're welcome.
Killer stuff, man. All right.
I'm looking forward to playing with it, John.
I hope that gives you a better understanding of what it can do for you and on how it can benefit not just displaying your images, but helping you with growing your businesses.
Yes. So much good business stuff. It's just amazing. And by making it short codes and being able to use all the different things, the different display things in posts, that means putting in mosaic galleries in your posts. How cool is that, folks? That's pretty amazing. So, John, thank you, sir.
No worries, guys. Enjoy your evening over there.
Thank you.
I appreciate you so much coming out. Talk to you later, man.
Thank you, John.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.